Going viral and making money on short form content is a lot easier than you think. Why can I say that? Well, because I did it. So I don't want to waste any more of your time. We'll talk about it. There are three basic principles for short form content. We'll dive deeper into the three principles, why it matters, how you can do it, and some examples, what I did and how I did it, and why achieving this is a lot closer than you believe. So there are three basic principles here: the idea, the quality, and the quantity. Three basic principles here. If you master all of these, you will be great at short form content. But let's talk about it and the idea first. Now, the idea is single-handedly the most important factor when it comes to how well your video will perform. Quantity and quality doesn't mean a thing if your idea is trash. You could film the same exact trash idea in 4K and post it every day for a year. But if it sucks and no one wants to watch it, no one's going to watch it. You cannot overlook this step. This is very, very important. Idea matters the utmost when you're creating short form content, or really any sort of content in general. And we'll kind of look at an example here, right? I understand that this is a little bit of a different objective for the two videos, but it's a very, very good example and a basic one. What separates these videos? New branding plus merch for sale, 4.2K. The Ultimate Subaru, 1 million views. The quality here is exactly the same. Why? Because they're posted right after each other. They posted this one, and then they posted the new logo plus shirts. So the quality is the same. The idea is different. That's why this one performed at 4.2K. This one performed at 1 million. We'll take another look here. I trained Muay Thai in Thailand with no experience. This little number here, 415.4x, is basically how well this video performed in comparison to his median views. So he had 900,000 views on this video, but his median view is 2.1K. The quality is the same here too. I mean, his last video was most likely going to be in a 2.1K median here, but this video performed 415 times better than the average. Why? Because the idea was killer. You cannot neglect the idea. This should be the most time-consuming aspect of the entire kind of creation of short-form content. So, how do you do it? Well, study your niche and look at successful videos, really well-performing videos, and preferably be recent as well. You need to take those videos that did well and you need to either write it down or put it into a playlist. And after you do that and you put it into your playlist, look at it, and I want you to write down kind of like the overall idea of the video. Move words around, combine topics, notice patterns, and identify possible ideas. So if you're in the business niche, right, interviewing and books are a big thing. Maybe you could interview rich authors. Just an idea I threw out there. And you got to think too, you have a lot of pre-existing proven concepts to kind of toy around with to create new concepts. So your playlist should be huge. You should have tons of videos in there. And I don't want you to be too narrow-minded in this. I want you to look even outside of your niche. Because honestly, the very first viral video I ever created was something I pulled from outside of my niche. I transferred it from a pet niche to like the electronic niche, which is kind of what I was focusing on and testing this strategy with. So kind of toy around a little bit. Look in your niche mainly and primarily, but don't be too scared to go out and kind of look for other ideas. So we'll go over here and talk about quality as well. And you could have a banger video idea. It could be great, but if your quality is absolutely trash, not just trash, absolutely trash, it does not matter. So obviously here I'm talking about mics and cameras and lights and background and editing resolution and everything. And you could go out and get basic lights, a high quality mic, a nice camera, bougie editing software, and a nice background depending on what you're shooting. But it might not matter. You might be overdoing it. So how much does it matter? And quality is really not as important as you think. And here's some examples here. OG Shafshin, who's in like the car niche, right? First of all, look at these thumbnails. You can make this in Canva easily. There's nothing crazy here. You do not need to study Photoshop for 6 months, 3 months, 2 months to make this. You can make this in Canva absolutely easy. 400K videos, or 400K views for each of these videos. And even if you watch the videos, you realize there is really no fancy editing in these videos at all. You can make this exact video in iMovie. Like, there's no flashy editing, no flashy transitions, nothing. And guess what he filmed this with? An iPhone. And I guarantee you, a lot of you, if you're struggling to go viral, will be very, very happy knowing that you could get a 400K video with like really cheap web browser, like Photoshop thing, like Canva, and your iPhone. Now, of course, we look at Jesse James West, who has really great quality. We got 3.6 million views. Really nice Photoshop here. Tessa James with no reviews, kind of like Mr. Beast, modern day YouTube content. So I understand quality matters, but it might not matter as much as you believe. So I know a lot of you guys are kind of asking, well, then what equipment do I need? And it depends. You might need more, you might need less. So study your competitors and kind of look at the quality they record at and just get a general overview of what you need and what you don't need. And don't just look at the top guys, because the top guys are the top 1%. And they're going to have the best because they want to reinvest in their content. So study the entire industry. Look at the top guys, look at the guys who, are kind of in the mid-tier, I guess, or low tier. Are there guys that are starting and having success which have minimal equipment? So go out and look at their equipment, look at their lighting, look at their settings, look at the editing, the resolution, things like that. So you can get a general overview of what you might need. And we're going to talk about quantity here. There's not much to talk about with quantity. Really just about posting and taking advantage of volume. You cannot underestimate the power of volume. Now, there's a reason why a lot of entrepreneurs say you could get rich, you could do this, you could find success in your business with posting organically, whatever, if you just keep at it and be consistent. It's because it's very, very, very powerful. And organic dropshippers know this very, very well. They'll post 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day on different platforms as well. And I think Alex Eubank said this, and he said it pretty beautifully, right? Each time you post is essentially a lottery ticket. So if you're struggling to kind of keep up with quantity, I want you to think that if you post this video, it might be the one that could change your life. It could be the one that has 1 million views, 5 million, maybe 10 million, lands you a brand deal. Do not underestimate the power of volume. So now that you kind of have a little bit of an idea, I'll tell you what I did. And it's basically what I already said, but I'll talk about it, I guess, a little bit more in depth. So for the idea, I studied my niche. I just got a compilation of what other people were doing. I was split testing different ideas that I had came up with from studying and kind of writing it down and making a playlist. And bringing other topics from a different niche. Like I just said, I brought something from the dog niche to the electronic niche and performed very well. And if I had not used the strategy of looking outside of my niche for ideas, I would have been out of a 5 million view video, my first ever viral video. And for my quality, I always thought that maybe I might need an LED tube and maybe different softbox lights and maybe a newer phone and all these things like that. But really all I needed was the phone I had now, 2 softboxes, and CapCut. And I didn't use any pro features or nothing. I just used the free version of CapCut. That's it. That's all I needed. And I looked at my demographic as well. Crazy stutter. But I looked at my demographic and I realized that for who I wanted to show my content to and who it was meant for, I did not need crazy lighting. I didn't need crazy background. I didn't need any of that. And for quantity, I would post 2 times every single day. And there's not really a limit to how much you can post and if it'll do well. But I didn't know anything, so I kind of copied and reverse engineered what people were doing and how they were doing well with it. So I posted 2 times a day. You can post 3 times, 4 times. Depends on your niche, but for the most part, it's not really a limit. So doing this, I got 100,000 subscribers, and in the last 28 days, I generated 6.6 million views. I got a silver play button, which was really, really cool. And here we go. 15 million views, $600 in revenue in a low, I believe, CPM niche. RPM niche, revenue per mil. So 15 million views, 22,000 subscribers, $600. And this video, from idea to film to edit, probably took me less than, an hour. And same thing for this video. more subscribers, 400 bucks, 10 million views, and that one probably took me like 30 minutes for the entire thing. Not to mention that I created multiple funnels. So while I was making money off of this, I was also generating sales for my organic kind of dropshipping store here. So my hourly rate, right, which people like to talk about, was probably through the roof from doing this. Now, you know all this stuff, but you kind of have a choice. It's like, do you want to do it alone, yes or no? And if you do want to do it alone, it's absolutely possible. I don't want to sit here and tell you that, oh, you need a program or a coach or need someone to hold your hand, because I didn't have a coach, right? So it's possible, but there's so many downsides, and I know the downsides because, well, I did it alone. And this was probably the easiest section to write out of this like whole little board. First of all, it's the time. How long it takes you to like go viral, because you're doing so many things wrong. I was in a space where people were doing like trying to go viral for like 6 to 8 months and have never had a video go over like 20K. No sales, no viral video, nothing. And they're doing it for 6 to 8 months. It's crazy. You might overspend on equipment. You might misunderstand important topics and what makes them good. And you're biased as well. You're going to become incredibly biased over your own videos. A lot of people think their videos are good. They're not. Mine weren't. There's always room for improvement. And this is a big one to overcome as well. Just not having accountability as well. The unknown. There are just so many things out there which you don't know, which you might learn from a free YouTube video, after you've done 30 hours on YouTube and that one video had that 1% information that really applied to you. You won't know the little tips and things like that. And first of all, it just takes hours of research to like find stuff and understand the whole entire game and then really apply that to your scenario. One big thing too is that not a lot of people know what to do after they go viral. They don't know if they should milk the content. They don't know if you should repost the content. They don't know if you should take the same idea and like repackage it. They don't know if you should just take the same idea and then refilm it. And there's so much more. And once you do that, maybe after like that guy's timeline, right, like 6 to 8 months, you go viral and you do it consistently. So congrats. And you have an extremely valuable skill, which you can do a million things with. The internet's not going anywhere. Now let's just go over here, right? Let's say I don't want to do it alone. Okay, well then great. That means that you would essentially have me help you. You would have me accelerate the progress. You would know the equipment to buy. You would get help on generating topics correctly and just going through the entire list and knowing how to do that. You would I'd help you overcome your bias. So for me as a viewer, I would see things that you wouldn't. You would sit there and made a video, you're really proud of it, which is awesome, you should be, but you shouldn't let that cloud your judgment. And of course, I would adopt your issues, because are you really even like a coach if they don't care about your issues? So I would also hold you accountable, and I would, more importantly, save you hours and hours of research. The whole reason why you buy like a program or coach is to hope that they can accelerate progress. If you don't believe that you can accelerate progress, don't coach. Just first and foremost. Well, I know stuff, I'm making a course, don't make a course. I don't like courses. So anyway, I would save you hours and hours of research, and I would save you maybe even months of like research as well, because people have been doing it for 6 to 8 months, kind of doing it on the side or doing it as a main thing, trying to find and apply it to their, scenario, but haven't done it. And then in a shorter amount of time, you go viral, do it consistently, you know everything extremely quickly, and I help you apply it to your niche or scenario, and then you have the extremely valuable skill, which will confidently, which will pay back. If you're telling me that you know how to take advantage of short form content and you can't make your money back, I'm gonna call you a liar, because there's so many things you can do with it, which I talked about in my last video as well. So look, the main idea here is to focus on the ideas. It's to study your competitors so you can reverse engineer it, understand what makes things good, right? Like copy it to an extent. You need to find the trends by going through that playlist and combining and writing down basic ideas. And then you'll be on the road to hitting, becoming viral. Guaranteed. Like, I do believe it's possible to do it alone. It might take you some time, but I know it's possible. Be consistent with this stuff. Really study it down to a T. And you will have one of the best skills to have in 2025 and so on. So, look, if you want to have me help you out, just click the link in my bio and I'll call you and see if it's a great fit and if I can help you.